Hi, I'm Don. Welcome to my studio. Today we're going to be painting another warhammer. Also, we will be discussing why most miniature painters, including me, use the black primer for priming our models. That's good. We will be doing basic layering with this model, and we're not using the glaze medium for a change. Instead, we're using the thinner medium. Watch until the end of the video for the introduction on how I paint gold and MM. Mats and tools are all sponsored by the following brands. Oh, by the way, hopefully this video will also show people why Zenithal underpainting or Zenithal in general is kinda beneficial in some cases. I get a few inquiries why we do zenithal underpainting and also why we're painting solid colors or opaque colors on top of it, which makes the underpainting pointless. So I beg to disagree actually, because have you tried painting red or yellows on top of black primer? So that's really no fun because the black primer is so black and the red and yellows are too transparent to give you a really nice coverage over black primer. So back to the black primer. Why do we use black primer if we're having a hard time and we need to do underpainting for brighter colors? Basically, the black primer gives us more volume or more definition, especially in between areas of, like, for example, we're painting the gold armor trims. You need to have like a very thin outline in between the gold trims and the red armor so that you create nice definition. And it's easier to do that just by painting like red. As you can see later here, we're painting red and then we're leaving areas of the dark underpainting, and then we paint the gold trims. So we have separation in between elements. So it's like a shortcut in a way, but then again, you have to do underpainting for bright colors. So it's a matter of preference really. Some people, or like a few people, would like to prime in gray or white primer, but black primer is like the easiest to airbrush and also easy for spray cans because it has the best coverage. That coverage is very important, especially for this model, because this model was molded in red plastic, and like gray primer and white primer cannot fully cover red plastic because the red plastic will show through the gray and white primer. Now we're done with the underpainting. The underpainting with the browns is really nice because it will be a nice undercoat for the red paint. Also, it's a nice undercoat for the gold NMM later. The only thing that it's not great for is the underpainting for the black areas, but we'll fix that later. So we're painting scarlet instead of amaranth red because I just want to test other paints. Also, this will be our sort of pre-highlight color. So you'll notice in the third coat of this color, we're painting mostly on the top areas, which is like a zenithal effect, so that the areas that will be hit with light will be the most orange, or in this case, the most scarlet. Now you could see in the video that our brown underpainting is already beneficial for our red painting because we're leaving areas of the edges of the armor so that it creates separation between the red armor parts and the gold trims later. So although we're aiming for a very solid like red armor later, you could see that the browns at the edges of the red armor parts will be like, it's like fading towards the darker areas of the model. Also, our reds will be brighter because we're painting over brown rather than paint over black. So no matter how much coats or how many layers you paint, red paint over black, it will never be as bright as if you have an underpainting. Now we paint with fiery flame. This is basically just a redder, more bright version of like dark vermilion. You could actually even use the game color gory red to create more contrast, but I was happy with the result by painting with this fiery flame. Notice I'm painting mostly on the lower areas of the armor, leaving the top areas as scarlet. So we have a zenithal look. It's too subtle, I think, for the video to like really show you. But in person, it's more visible. Now back to why we paint black primer, because I think it's too obvious now. As you could see, the hard to like reach areas of the model remain black in black primer because even the dry brush couldn't reach them, and it looks like natural shadows. So this is why I say black primer creates more volume because the shadow areas remain black. Thus, you have like a more volume look to the model. Now we're using sun yellow for the highlights of this red armor part. We're using yellows. This is why I called it fiery red armor. Because if we use pink to do highlights of the red armor, it's pinkish red armor. So it's fiery in a way because we're using yellow highlights. It's important to note that we're using thinner medium to mix with the paints here instead of water, but we load our brush with our retarder water mixture at the side of our wet palette, so that keeps the paints fresh or wet for longer. Also, we're using the thinner medium, which does not add transparency, or at the very least it does not add the same level of transparency as glaze medium. So now we're doing a lazy wash of sepia ink and black ink in a while because we want a darker underpainting for the other parts of the model, which is the bones and the gold NMM and the black leather parts. So if we have a darker underpainting, when we paint the highlights, we build up the highlights, we create more volume because we have really dark shadows and really nice highlights. Also notice I did not add a thinner medium to the black ink. I just added water and a bit of retarder so that it's more runny, so that it will settle around the details and crevices of the model. Now we're almost done. It's basically just building up layers and layers of lighter colors on top of this really dark underpainting. It's already like a sepia-ish underpainting, which will be really nice later because we have really dark shadows. And then once we build up those layers, our layering, we're not layering by the way, because we're not painting transparent layers on top of each other. It's just basic layering but with thinner medium. Also notice the black ink like covered the black areas of the model really fast with just a couple of thin coats. Now we're using stone gray and silver gray later to create more volume and build up layers of lighter colors for the skeletons, or I mean the bone parts and the skulls. The silver gray is awesome by the way. I'm kinda liking it over ivory because ivory is sometimes a bit too yellow. Silver gray is like titanium white of the classic like tube acrylic paints. You could lazy wash the skulls with sepia to create more volume if you like. Now we paint gold NMM. This is just basic gold NMM because this is a commission work and like a battle ready commission work. Supposedly the client is like expecting TMM for this one, but sometimes it's easier for me to just paint NMM because we have a brown underpainting already. And because of the brown underpainting, we just need to sketch the highlight areas of the gold with an ochre yellow color. This time we're using Japanese uniform from model colors and we're sketching like where the highlight should be. And basically we have a gold NMM already. So you could see here the underpainting is so much beneficial again because we have the darker areas like the shadow colors for the gold NMM already, and we don't have to paint all those trims again because it's brown already. So we build up layers and layers of highlights to create a convincing gold. You're seeing now is the painting of ice yellow for the edge highlighting of the gold trims. If you paint like really nice edge highlights for the gold NMM, it will look crisper and it will look more metallic. Remember our retarder medium and water mixture on the side? This was the perfect like cheat code for this because we want to maintain the ice yellow. The consistency of the ice yellow was wetter or more consistent, longer for the painting of the edge highlights. Now we just build up glazes of dark sea blue taught to me by Duke's Paint Art at Instagram. With this time we're using the glaze medium with the dark sea blue. That's it, Pansit. So we're done, and hopefully, especially for beginners, you understand why most miniature painters paint with black primer. Also, hopefully you understand why it's beneficial to do zenithal like underpainting in some cases. Again, I promise to do a better video and a better finish gold NMM for my own Stormcast soon. That's it, we're done. I hope you liked the video. Do like, comment, subscribe, and consider joining the channel so that you'll be part of our Discord community. Saludos!